Hello, and welcome to Scarlet Tavern. Grab a drink, take a seat, and let's begin. Today, we delve into the mysterious case of Elisa Lam and the infamous Cecil Hotel, a story where intrigue meets the inexplicable in the heart of downtown Los Angeles. Join us as we journey through a tale that still haunts the corridors of the internet and the shadowy corners of one of LA's most notorious lodgings. This is Scarlet Tavern. All right. So, one quick little statement. We took a break last week. Unfortunately, we don't have a separate Scarlet Tavern social media. We will probably start doing that here shortly. It seems like we need to kind of do a little bit of a separation from regular damn media when it comes to our social media for Scarlet Tavern. So you may start seeing an Instagram and all of that come for Scarlet Tavern, so we can make announcements. But due to scheduling issues and some other issues, we took last week off. We needed the break, but we are back. We should be good to go. And with this, we are going to get into Elisa Lam, as we said in the intro. So this is gonna be a nice little segue in between a few things. Will be everything that we're gonna start doing here in the next month or so is going to segue into each other, and we will tell you as we go along how they connect. But this one is not going to be super long. It's probably not going to be as long as our normal ones, just because there's not much to it, to be honest. There's a little bit there. We added a couple extra things, but on top of that, there's really not much to the Elisa Lam case. So, um, yeah. So I guess let's go ahead and get into Elisa Lam. First mistake, being Canadian. Yeah, you understand. One thing there too is that she was a very intellectually astute person. She was very smart. Yeah. Hey, MySpace is still around. It came back. We all need to move over to MySpace. I think it got sold a while ago, but it looks completely different, and you can still code and everything. You can still code the pages. I learned how to hack computers by using MySpace. I was still in high school. Because Ben quit. Yeah. One thing that we skipped over that I think is very essential is her medications. Do you want me to pronounce them, or would you like to try? I think if even if you'd have a short day, I'd be the one doing it. Um, so, she was on several medications for mental health issues. Wellbutrin, lamitrigine, uh, quetiapine, dexedrine, Spansol, and venlafaxine. So all of these are for bipolar disorder. It's a huge, huge concoction. Um, but they only work if you take them. Which she had a history of not taking them and suffered hallucinations because of it. There's some medications that don't work. Zoloft. Um, I think 90% of people that suffer with depression that have tried to take Zoloft understand that it doesn't work. But they still push it on you anyways. But but all accounts say that I know personally for a fact Wellbutrin does work for bipolar and schizophrenia. The rest I don't have a heavy knowledge in, but I know Wellbutrin is the primary medication for bipolar. Yep. Anything goes. You that's where your prostitution, your drugs, it's the red light district of Los Angeles. It's bad. Yeah. Well, and for those that don't do the action, if you look at like musicals, Rent, the part of New York that they were in, and that time in the '90s, it was basically like Skid Row. New York had their own versions of Skid Row, and still do to this day. Okay, so here's the issue. Here's the issue. Um, she was number one. She's an adult. Is the first thing. By law, there's really nothing they can do, but cannot report somebody missing until 24, at least 24 hours. Usually it's 48. But they they would not or should not have started this search this quickly because she's technically not a missing persons yet. And again, she's an adult. But it does not matter because by law she's an adult and a fully functioning adult. Where if she is not functioning enough to where the it would be authorized to look for her that soon, then she should have not been able to take this trip by herself. Exactly. Well, and one thing I want to let everybody know is that even though, let's say it was 48 hours and she did go missing, it's still technically not a crime, which means they do not have probable cause to go search everybody's rooms. They would have to have the evidence of, hey, these are, this is who did this, or the on the other end, you have to have permission from the hotel to go into each room, but then the hotel has to notify each guest. And then a place like the Cecil was really a no questions asked hotel. Yes. Yeah. We will we will try I will try and find it, and I will try and post it on our website if I can find it. It's creepy. Well, and I just found the video on YouTube. Um, it's from CBS News, posted 10 years ago and has 4.8 million views. Yes. Correct. And Sinatab is allergy meds. Yeah, it's allergy meds. Yeah, you're gonna have trace amounts of it in your blood. The facts, so, and this is people claiming, oh well, she was on all these drugs. If she was on these drugs and this happened, they found traces of Sinitab and ibuprofen in her system. It's it's the same thing. If she had other drugs in her system, they would have came up with the Sinutab and ibuprofen. They all break down the same way. They all have the same shelf life when it comes to toxicology. So if she ever had anything in her system, it would have shown up. One of the other things too is that if the lid truly was open, like the hotel employee claimed, the dogs would have been able to scent her. Because it's not like she's in some chlorinated water. She's in just regular water. The dog's scent would have been able to pick that up. That water's not going to wash away that scent that easily. It would take a very long time to do that. So my theory is that she was drowned by a hotel employee. That's my running theory, because the access to the roof, the access to get into the water tower, which most employees have to, she would not have been able to climb into it. A ladder would have had to have been used, which would have had to have been accessed by an employee. Her clothes were off. Obviously, she had no signs of sexual assault or anything like that. I think that she was off her meds or was underdosing and was having episodes, and doing so pissed off a hotel employee to the point of killing her. Yeah, and one of the other things too is the autopsy report. It was incomplete. The autopsy report shows that doesn't even show that they did a rape kit or fingernail kits or anything like that. It does not show that. Doesn't show any results. Um, there was also pooling of blood in her anal area. Now, like it was stated, it could have been from bloating, from being in the water, but that's also one of the signs of rape as well. So, yeah, it does. Um, yeah. So, and what we're just talking about is going to go into one little thing that we're going to discuss in regards to this. But one of the big things is, and this is going to go into our next set of topics, is Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. It is confirmed that he did stay there for an extended period of time. He had his own room where he had a shrine set up and all this devil worship stuff and blah, 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 blah. But one of the other theories for this Elisa Lam is that she went to another dimension. And how did she do this, you may ask? She did this, or would have done this, supposedly, by playing the elevator game. Basically, the elevator game has to be played, I say played, quote unquote played, with in an elevator with a building that has at least 10 floors, and you basically, if you're the player, you enter an elevator alone or with somebody else. So, like if me and Ben were in there, we are going to play the elevator game at the Cecil. No outsider can enter the elevator with you, nor can you leave at any point. If you do exit the elevator, you must start over. The next step is you have to ride the elevator from floor to floor in a specific sequence. So you go up to the 4th, down to the 2nd, up to the 6th, back down to the 2nd, up to the 10th, and then down to the 5th, and not get off on any of the floors. When you get to the 5th floor, if you encounter a mysterious woman, do not look at her, and do not answer or interact with her in any way. The consequences of engaging with her are said to include the possibility of never returning to the real world. The next step would be to push the buttons to descend from the 5th floor to the 1st floor. Here's where they say things could get crazy. The elevator operates normally and takes you to the 1st floor. Exit immediately and do not look back or talk to anyone. But if, instead of taking you from the 5th to the 1st floor, the elevator begins to go up, well, you're being allowed into another world. Or so they say. Alternatively, you might resist the urge to freak out and instead simply press the emergency button and wait for the fire department to arrive. Yes, don't. And so, if you play this elevator game, save this because we're going to tell you how to get back. So I want you to go ahead and save this. Yeah. Very easily. That was the point. Soundboard, everybody. Yeah. 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 I mean, basically. So, and the reason we brought that up, of course, is because people believe that Elisa Lam played the elevator game because it was very popular in like 2011 to 2013 time. Yeah. Yeah. There was like that. What was that freaking. Oh, what was that picture of that like really creepy girl? Um, that were like popping up in kids' videos on YouTube and stuff like that. We'll probably do a series on a bunch of those. Um, yeah, they are technically tulpas. So we'll do an episode on a tulpa. For those that don't know, tulpas are things that are basically willed into existence. So somebody posts about the boogeyman. Well, the boogeyman doesn't truly exist, but the more that people believe in him and state that they've seen him or have done this, it feeds the tulpa and makes it come to life. So, and that's what it's believed with all of this. You have to destroy the source of, or you have to change it. So you have to. I mean, it was a ghost, but they basically had to change the source material and say, hey, it's vulnerable to gunshots, and boom, and that's how they killed it. But yeah, so again, this was a very short one, but we wanted to give you something since we didn't give you anything last week. And this is going to, as we mentioned, this was based in the Cecil Hotel. Another famous person that stayed at the Cecil Hotel was Richard Ramirez, which is what our next series is. So, as far as I know, right now it's going to be a two-parter. It will probably go to at least 3, because there is a lot to touch on Richard Ramirez. He was for lack of a better word, he was a sick fuck. And there's a reason he got Night Stalker as his name. So that's one that we're gonna go into with him. And I'll just a little bit from there, because we just discussed the elevator game and all of these alternate dimensions. That's then after him is going to lead us into one of my favorite places, and that's Skinwalker Ranch. Whoever it is, of course it's still anonymous, but whoever it is that owns Skinwalker Ranch, if you're listening to this, please invite us out. Well, we won't tell who you are. We both have security clearances. But we would love to see Skinwalker Ranch. But Skinwalker Ranch is believed to have entrances to other dimensions, as well as tons of different creatures, which then will start going down the rabbit hole into everything. So this is going to be a nice little segue series of things that we're going to get into here, and touching on a wide variety of topics, going from missing persons to serial killers to hauntings to aliens, because aliens are believed to be at Skinwalker Ranch as well. So we have a lot coming up that we're super excited for, and then we're always keeping an eye out on news and stuff like that. So if there's anything that pops up that is newsworthy that we think would be great as a podcast, obviously we can do some current events as well. But yeah, so that was Elisa Lam. I don't think it was suicide. I think it was murder. But I think that they wanted to close the case and be done with it. Or they protect somebody very, very big. And yes, mental health is a big deal. We all struggle with it. Just remember that there are things out there you can call. You can even text a suicide hotline now. All you have to do is go on your phone, dial 988 or text 988. Send a text out, and that is the suicide hotline. They added the text feature a few years ago, and it's great because some people aren't comfortable on the phone. Some people aren't comfortable speaking to people, but they would rather text it out because they can get their feelings out better. And so, please, if you do have any issues, please contact the suicide or crisis lifeline. Again, that is 988. And there is a suicide line for the entire U.S. That works no matter where you're at. They have multiple languages. So it's not something that you have to worry about. But please, if you are dealing with mental illness and dealing with anything like that, please reach out and talk to somebody. But yeah, so with that, I want to remind everybody, I did find the link to the surveillance video that will go up on our website. There is our special link on our website, dammediallc.com, DAMEDIA-LLC.com. If you click on the Scarlet Tavern tab, it will ask you to enter a password. It's going to be Scarlet letters. That's SCARLETT space LETTER. Make sure you put that space in there so you can see it. By viewing all of this stuff, you do so at your own risk, and we take no responsibility for any trauma. But we just wanted a place other than social media, because social media will take it down. We wanted a place that we could share this kind of stuff. So the surveillance video will go up on our website this week, and you can take a look at it there. We will probably only have about 4 or 5 things up at a time, and then we'll kind of recycle as we're moving on to new topics so we don't bombard our website and crash our brand new website. But with that being said, we want to thank you for visiting the Scarlet Tavern. Remember to turn in your glasses, push in your seat, and as always, tip the bard. Good night, everybody.